The testimonies featured on this channel are presented as received, reflecting the personal experience and perspectives of the individuals who have generously shared them with us. We encourage our viewers to approach these testimonies with compassion and understanding, as these are personal testimonies of people involved. We also encourage you to always refer to the Holy Bible and the teachings of Jesus Christ and his apostles for guidance. You can consider subscribing to the channel to help promote this ministry. Sometimes the most terrifying stories don't begin with horror. They begin with silence. A silence so deep, it echoes to the walls of tradition, culture, and fear. This story is not fiction. This is a true account of a woman who dared to question everything she was ever taught. A woman who saw something no one was supposed to see. Her name is Fatima. She was born in the shadows of a strict Muslim family, where women's voices were quiet, where questions were dangerous, and where faith was not chosen, but inherited. Fatima never thought she would escape the path carved out for her. Daily prayers, modesty, submission. She followed the rules until one night, everything changed. A vision, a voice, a fire that didn't burn her body, but scorched her soul. What she saw beyond death's veil would not only shake her, but awaken something inside her, something that would make her the enemy of her own people, the enemy of her own blood. She paid a price, a terrible price for the truth, a price that would leave her scarred. Inside and out, this is her story. Let's hear from Fatima.
I remember the night I died. It wasn't in a hospital or in a car crash. It wasn't the kind of death you read in news headlines. No, mine happened quietly. In my room. On a prayer mat. While everyone else in the house was asleep. My name is Fatima. I was born in the southern part of a Muslim majority country I won't name, because if they hear this, they will hunt me again. And they will finish what they started. From the time I was a little girl, I was taught that Islam was the only truth. My father was a respected elder in the mosque, a man feared and honored. My mother, she was obedient, fearful. I never saw her laugh out loud. I don't think I ever heard her say, "I'm happy." As girls, we were told to fear Allah. That every step we took was being watched. That angels recorded our deeds. That if we didn't pray 5 times a day, if we didn't wear the hijab properly, if we disobeyed our fathers, or questioned the Quran, we'd burn in hell. I believed it. Until the night I died. It started with a strange feeling in my chest. Like something was pulling me out of my body. I remember gasping for breath, my hands clawing at the floor, my heart pounding like drums of war, and then blackness. I saw my body lying still on the ground. But I was above it. Floating. Weightless. I tried to scream, but no one could hear me. I tried to move, but I had no body. Only a presence. A soul. And then, I was dragged. Pulled. Like chains around my soul. Into darkness. A place deeper than death. I screamed. I begged. I recited verses of the Quran. Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Ikhlas. I called on Allah, on the Prophet Muhammad, nothing. No voice answered me. What I saw, I wish I could erase from my memory. Fire. Endless fire. Screaming. Not from mouths, but from spirits. Souls melting, writhing. There was no ground. No sky. Just an endless pit. Demons, creatures I can't describe in human words, tore at the souls. Laughing. Mocking. And then, I saw them. Muslims. Wearing white hijabs. Men in their kufis. Some reciting the Shahida. some still praying, and they were all in hell. I cried out, "Why? They're Muslims. They prayed." And then I saw him, a man clothed in light. He didn't float. He stood. He didn't speak. Yet I heard his voice in me. He said, "They did not know me." I cried, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am Jesus." I trembled. I wept. I felt every sin I ever committed burning in me. And yet, he looked at me with love. He stretched out his hand. And suddenly, I was not in hell anymore. I stood in a place so bright, so beautiful, that even the word paradise seems too small. There was peace. Not silence, but music. Not from instruments, but from life itself. Colors I've never seen before. A river like glass. Trees that shone. And people, radiant people, bowing before Jesus. I asked him, "Why are Muslims not here?" He said, "They follow a path that denies my sacrifice." He showed me his hands, the wounds, the cross. He said, "No one comes to the Father except through me." And then, he looked deep into my eyes. He said, "Fatima, you must go back." "No," I begged. "Don't send me back. They'll kill me." But he only smiled. "I will be with you even in the fire." And then I fell back into my body. I woke up screaming, my whole body drenched in sweat, my chest aching, but I was alive. And I knew I could never go back to Islam. 4 days, I said nothing. But the vision haunted me. The smell of the burning souls. The sound of the screams. And that name, Jesus. I found an old Bible in a hidden drawer in the school's abandoned library. Covered in dust. Forgotten. I read it in secret, hiding under my blanket at night. Every word pierced my heart. I am the way, the truth, and the life. It was like Jesus was speaking directly to me. One night, I whispered into the dark, "Jesus, if you are who you say you are, I believe." The peace that washed over me in that moment was unlike anything I had felt before. Like arms around my soul. Like chains being shattered. But that peace didn't last. Because I made a mistake. I told my sister. She screamed. Slapped me. Called my father. And that night, my own blood turned against me. They didn't wait for an imam's judgment. They didn't wait for a fatwa. They dragged me outside. Screaming. Beating. My father poured kerosene on my clothes. I begged. I pleaded. My mother stood there, silent. And then, the match. Fire. Real fire. I don't remember the pain. Only the smell. My skin, my hair, my body, burning. I blacked out. And when I opened my eyes again, I was in a hospital bed. Alone. Wrapped like a mummy. But alive. A Christian nurse had rescued me. She found me left to die by the roadside. She took me in. Risked everything to hide me. She whispered, "Jesus has plans for you." And I wept. Because I knew. He kept his word. He was with me, even in the fire. I don't know how long I stayed unconscious. Time felt like a dream I couldn't wake from. But when I finally opened my eyes, I was in a small hospital room and I couldn't move. Pain was everywhere. My skin, what was left of it, felt like it was being stabbed over and over. My mouth was dry. My throat was cracked. I couldn't even speak. But then, I saw her. A woman in white. She wasn't a doctor. She wasn't Muslim. I knew by her cross. She sat beside me, held my hand, and when I looked into her eyes, I saw peace. She said her name was Miriam, a Christian nurse who worked secretly for a missionary network. She told me someone had found my body by the roadside, barely breathing, dumped like garbage, left to die. But Miriam, she risked everything. She took me in, hid my identity, changed my name on the hospital records. For weeks, she nursed me back to life. My skin, my face, everything was different. I couldn't even recognize myself. But she told me, Jesus knows your name. He knows every scar. And for the first time, I cried not from pain, but from hope. The recovery was long. Some nights I would wake up screaming, still seeing flames in my dreams. I would hear my father's voice, my sister's curses, my mother's silence. But every time I wanted to give up, Jesus would whisper, I was with you in the fire. When I could finally sit up, Miriam brought me a mirror. My face, it was disfigured, burned. Half of it looked melted. My hair was gone. My arms covered in grafts. I didn't recognize the girl in the glass. But in my heart, I was not the same. I had died a Muslim. I had risen a Christian. And now, I had nothing to lose. Eventually, I left the hospital. I had to. They were searching for me. My father had declared me murtad, an apostate. In our country, that meant death. I went underground. Miriam introduced me to a group of believers who worshipped in secret. In basements. Behind locked doors. In whispers. We sang hymns with tears. We read the Bible by candlelight. And every time I opened the Word, it felt like Jesus was holding my heart. But one night, they found us. We were in the middle of worship, singing softly. A baby was sleeping on a mother's lap. And then, bang! The door burst open. Men in masks. Guns. They shouted in Arabic, "You are all traitors." They dragged 3 of the men outside. I never saw them again. I froze. I was paralyzed by fear. One of them grabbed my burned arm and sneered. "You again? You should have died the first time." He slammed my head against the wall. Everything went black. When I woke up, I was in a police cell. No windows. Just darkness. For 2 weeks, they starved me. Beat me. Asked me the same question again and again. Will you return to Islam? I didn't answer. Not because I was strong, but because I was afraid that if I opened my mouth, I would scream. They brought in an imam. He looked at my scars and said, "This is the punishment of Allah. Come back before he kills you for good." But that night, something happened. I had another vision. This time, I was in a room full of fire again. But I wasn't burning. I saw people, other ex-Muslims, surrounded by flames, but untouched. And Jesus stood in the center. He said, "They may burn your body, but they cannot touch your soul. You are mine. When I opened my eyes, I had no fear left in me. So when they asked me again, will you return to Islam? I whispered, I belong to Jesus. They threw me into the street like trash. But I was free. After that, I fled the country. I can't tell you how. I can't say where I am now. There are people who would kill me just for speaking these words. But I want you to hear this. Islam held me in chains. Jesus set me free. The Quran taught me to fear. But the cross, it gave me love. They tried to kill me with fire. But the fire revealed the truth. And now, every day I live for one reason, to tell others what I saw. To the Muslim listening now, I was once like you. I prayed. I fasted. I followed the Prophet. But I never knew peace. I never knew assurance. I feared the grave. I feared judgment. But now, I fear nothing. Because Jesus Christ is not just a prophet. He is the Son of God. He is the Savior. And He is coming back. Please, listen to me. Hell is real. I've seen it. And Jesus is the only way out.